Hello and welcome back to the channel of nonsense. This is a little vloggy thing. It's going to be a bit random because I wasn't actually going to film anything today, but I'm at a slightly weird event called the SMT Test Day, where all motoring journalists in the UK, influencers, vloggers, small time, big time, they all descend on this kind of proving ground, and they can take out cars and drive things that they wouldn't normally get lent. And there are motorbikes here this year. I wasn't going to do I'm not doing a full review of this, but I'm on the CB1000R. Now, I rode this a couple of years ago before I did YouTube, and I really liked it. I just thought it was a cracking naked bike with more character than you would normally give a Honda credit for, and it's just, I don't know, I thought it was a little bit forgotten. So here I am, back on one. Going to do a little 40-minute route. It won't be too naughty, won't be too spicy because we're in a convoy, but I just want to talk about the bike a little bit, about life, things, stuff. Look at all these things, lots of BMWs, Jeeps, Abarths, Porsches, Taycans. Yeah, it's kind of a fun day out if you're a motoring journalist. I usually try not to drive anything because then there's an unwritten obligation that you write about it or do a video on it, which I don't really like, because 15 minutes in a car, it's not really enough time to assess it at all. And I spend most of my time just chatting to friends, PRs, telling them about my channels, boring them, gossiping, telling them who has touched who inappropriately and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you're not usually allowed to photograph and film here because this is Millbrook. It's a big proving ground where manufacturers come to test their cars, and it's usually full of secret stuff and camouflage, and the Mercedes AMG 1 is usually here, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting place. There's a big high-speed bowl here, which is, well, I can't remember what the maximum speed you're meant to do, but you can probably do 200 miles an hour around the banking. It's a big circle. And there's a hill route, there's an alpine course which is designed to just mimic alpine roads, which is really quite cool, and it is used in Casino Royale. There you go, can you see the bowl there? It was used in Casino Royale, the alpine course, when he rolled his Aston DBS. That was filmed there. So you drive around there and think, he was going the wrong way around here, James Bond. He was not adhering to the health and safety policy. Bloody James Bond, what do you expect, to be honest? But anyway, I'm going out on a road route, getting out of Millbrook. Oh yeah, last one of these I rode was a special red, white and blue edition that Honda UK had made up, and it had an Acra N can on it, and it sounded not just spicy, it was like a vindaloo in your ears, a vindaloo of noise. There you go, you can see the bowl down there. It was outrageously noisy. It was horrific. I rode it to the NEC for the motorcycle live show in the depths of winter, and it froze to death and got deafened on it, so that wasn't great. But I really liked it. Had a lot of character, did little power wheelies everywhere. It's also got 1000cc detuned Fireblade engine from a couple of years ago, and it is a wonderful engine. And if you think you don't like inline fours, give one of these a ride, because it is interesting. It's nice, and obviously it's beautifully finished, being a Honda. And I think Honda doesn't get enough recognition for how beautiful their paintwork is. Like, even their most boring colours are beautifully finished. I was just looking at the CMX 1100, you know, that kind of Honda cruiser thing that I reviewed last year. The new colour for that is here, which is, according to someone that definitely doesn't work for Honda, diarrhea brown, but it is very metallic, and it's the most beautiful diarrhea brown I've ever seen applied to a bike. So yeah, Honda does a good job when it comes to that sort of thing and putting paint on vehicles. But anyway, we're leaving Millbrook. I don't know what the pace is going to be like. I don't know where we're going. With two other car journalists, including my mate Matt, who used to work for Car Throttle, which used to be Boo Hiss when I worked for Drive, but now it's alright. I could be friends with him. And he's just got back into bikes after a couple of years. So yeah, let's see how we go. I've had some comments on the channel that I should probably address recently. I did some filtering. I made the mistake of uploading a video of me filtering on the M25, and one person says, that's not filtering, that's suicide, which I thought was ever so slightly dramatic for someone who's just sitting behind a keyboard, I thought, you know, we've each got our own level of risk, and it all completely varies depending on your experience. And I used to commute around the M25 daily, and you wouldn't get anywhere if you didn't filter. You just wouldn't. We lost everyone already. So yeah, I think if you're watching bike videos on YouTube, if someone's being an obvious penis, you can call them on it, but filtering between cars on the M25 is it's just part and parcel of riding in England, I'm afraid. And it might look really alien if you live in the countryside and you just ride for fun, but if you actually commute, you have to go between cars when they're not stationary. And I think it's actually a bit safer to ride between cars that aren't stationary, because they're less likely to move across. And if cars are side by side, go between them, because they're not going to try and turn in on you because there's cars there. Does that make sense? But yeah, it's an interesting thing. There's so much to think about when you're doing motorbike YouTube in the edit. Like, what can you show, what can't you show? Am I going to get arrested? Are the police going to come kick on my door if I put this video up? This kind of stuff. It's a little bit of a stress, which is why I'm filming today, because I'm on a guided ride, so the pace will probably be alright. And it is, actually. It's a little bit quicker than I thought it was going to be. Now, CB1000R. This initial impressions of this got updated a few years ago after I rode it, I think, just with some different paint schemes and different clocks as well. It's got a lovely fake analog kind of tacho dial there, which is really cool. Yeah, I can't remember how much horsepower this has got. I think it's 150. Could be wrong. As you can tell, I've done no research. I just turned up today and jumped on it. But it's an exciting bike, and it just doesn't really sit there with the super nakeds. But it's got so much instant punch and torque. You remember that Fireblade, that 2008-2009 on Fireblade? It got so much praise for having a ridiculously torquey engine from inline 4, and they never put electronics on it because, oh, you know, it had so much physical grip. This has got that engine, and in a naked with short gearing, it is pretty good. It's balmy, in fact. I love it. And it's kind of, I guess, the closest rival to this is going to be an S1000 single arm BMW 4-cylinder. This has got less power, but this feels a bit naughtier. The riding position, there's kind of nothing to it. The bike is so short, it just feels super stumpy and dumpy. It just feels very pointy, and it flicks from side to side really quickly. The brakes are bloody strong as well. And again, I know proper motorbike journalists will criticise the brakes of any Japanese bike, saying that, oh, the ABS kicks in too early, blah blah blah. On the road, I like my ABS to kick in if it's needed. On track, I get why it'd be a little bit annoying. Quick shifter and blipper on this is really good. It's always nice on 4-cylinder engines because, I don't know, just feels like it's got more opportunities to cut the ignition and slot your cog in. On a big twin like my KTM, the quick shifter is, you get a good old ka-chunk as your head flies forward when you kick it. Kick it, tap it lightly with your toe. I forgot to record most of that, sorry. I think you saw the most interesting bit of that route, to be honest. What are we doing? Are we, oh no, he's just avoiding the speed bumps. He's just avoiding the speed bumps. Yes, so what I probably said earlier about this bike is that it's a forgotten super naked. And lots of people look at it and say it's a Honda and it's only got, what, 145, 150 horsepower. So yeah, it's not a super naked. It feels pretty super. And it's naked, would be my argument there. It does feel, I don't know, it just feels angry and small, and everything about it is taut. The suspension's quite firm, the engine, the throttle response is so crisp and beautiful. It's really, really just a lovely bike. And if you are thinking of getting like a second bike as a weekend blaster and you're partial to a torquey inline 4, don't dismiss the CB1000R. Stick a loud pipe on it and it'll sound like a Fireblade, and it kind of feels like a Fireblade when you're on it anyway, from the airbox noise and the exhaust note. As a standard exhaust, it sounds pretty loud. Yeah, I just like it. I just like it. It's kind of one of those bikes that it's probably not on your shopping list, but go and test ride one, because you might just be surprised. And I'll do a very quick walk around with my GoPro when I get back to Millbrook, and I'll get some basic facts like the price, because I have no idea how much this costs. I'm going to guess that this costs £12,500. Should we see how close I am? We can play a little game of higher or lower with the Honda Pressman. That was cool. Just a little vlog. little update on stuff, little CB1000R hoonage. Now I need to go and pretend I'm interested in cars for the rest of the day. That's a disappointment, isn't it? I mean, go and promote some roadie drive stuff to the greater good and tell them how it's the future of automotive journalism. Thank you, gateman, water gateman. Seat belts! Okay. God, I have to. Seatbelts on motorbikes. That'd be a great idea, wouldn't it? I know the BMW C1 had one, and no, I don't think I would wear it. I just want to fall off and be away from the big crushy lump of metal that I've just been riding. I wonder if they know I'm filming. I'm probably not meant to be filming. I'm probably going to get an angry letter. It's probably the most expensive fuel station in the world. God knows how much. It's probably only got race fuel or something. Restricted facility, no tailgating. Definitely no filming. Oh, she's a ripper! I love it! It's classic inline 4, right, until you get 6,000. It's not doing an awful lot, but then it starts doing an awful lot, and that's why I like it. There you go, I don't know if you can see that down there. It's the high-speed bowl. See some people going around there. Brakes on this are really, really good. What a complete motorbike! What a complete motorbike. It is kind of criminal that you don't see many of these about. Unimog, I want to go in you. I can go and learn to drive an articulated lorry and have a drive in Arctic, but don't know how much time I'm going to have, to be honest. Electric Fiat 500 in rose gold, kind of like that. 100-ton weight limit on the bridge. Yeah, I think they test lots of military vehicles here as well, and there's a company here that converts, or at least used to convert, cars into police cars and undercover cop cars, so you could always come down here and have a look at what's happening to see what's likely to nick you. Anyway, let's do a walk around. Right, here it is then. That's just what I've ridden. It's CB1000R. This is the black edition. So these, for a non-black edition, it's actually £11,600, which used to be a lot, but now is an absolute steal. It's like 4 or 5 grand cheaper than a proper Super Naked. So, yeah, what's not to like, really? Yeah, it's 144 horsepower. Oh, it's cool. The black edition, it looks like it's got black fork stanchions as well, which is, well, not stanchions, the tubey bits. Yeah, black bits here. It's just very lovely, and as I said, this obviously isn't a review, but it's just a lovely thing. It's got Power RS tyres on it as well. Decent tyres for 11,600. Cool. Anyway, that was a very random video. I'm probably not going to ride all of these because I need to go and talk to some people, as I said, and pretend I care about cars with some car journalists and do boring stuff. But anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if this has been useful, entertaining or helpful. And I'll see you next time when I won't be roasting in the sun at Millbrook. Goodbye.